You're listening to a special edition of the Just Go Bike podcast. That's AKA Murph.
And that's AP. And this is the podcast where we talk about cycling just for the fun of it. With tales from all across the nation, come for the bike, stay for the fun, and leave with a smile.
On this special edition, we are going to provide you with daily tales from the trail as we ride our bikes across the state of Iowa as a part of RAGBRAI LI.
We apologize in advance for any background noise. We'll be live each episode.
Well, hey, Murph.
Hello, AP.
We have completed day 3 of the RAGBRAI route inspection pre-ride.
Yes, we have Atlantic to Winterset. And I guess let's just get it off our chest right away. It was supposed to be 4,500 feet of climb. And you would think that maybe this was like, going to be the hardest day of the week. But I didn't feel like it was super, super, super hard.
Well, yeah, I agree. It was certainly hilly.
Yes,
I mean,
for sure.
Undeniable. But they were just continual. There were never any hills where I entered the pain cave, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, it was just, put it in your lowest gear and kind of grind through it. So.
Yeah, several minutes of climbing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And about 82 miles today, so definitely much longer than our last 2 days. But we did it. Day 3 is over, and we are here on the podcast to tell you a little bit about it.
Yeah, so coming to you, quote unquote, live from Winterset, Iowa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so Atlantic is where we started this morning, and we have to say thanks to Bailey and her crew of volunteers and people that are on the committees, because they showed us how to have some fun.
Yeah, we had such an amazing time in Atlantic. It's no wonder that their theme is Atlantic Palooza, because they know how to have fun.
Yes.
So, yeah. And we kicked it off bright and early today because we knew we had a long day ahead of us. So we left exactly at 6 a.m., which is when the RAGBRAI route will open in July on this day. So because we're pretty dedicated to riding the RAGBRAI route exactly as a cyclist would that would be doing RAGBRAI. But we wanted to start as early as possible because 82 miles, it takes a long time. You want to make sure you stop everywhere and enjoy the maximum. So
yeah, for sure.
That's
and
what we did.
All of these towns have so many cool things available for us. You know, whether it's food, entertainment, beverages, all the good stuff.
Yeah. So that's exactly what we did. So we rolled out, and our first stop of the day was Wiota. In other words.
And that was just a nice 8-mile pedal to get to Wiota, which was awesome.
Yeah. We had a nice stop there. We got to go inside the fire station. We got to have some snacks. It was just a really nice refresher to begin our day.
Yes, it was. And then the next stretch was about 11 miles, which it didn't feel like 11 miles. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but it was, it kept you active because of you'd go up a hill, go down a hill, up a hill, down a hill. So your thinking process was a little bit different.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
It went by in a jiffy. And I felt like the minute that we crossed into Adair County, it got drop dead gorgeous. Yeah. And there was just stuff to look at the whole time. There were picturesque barns and wind farms, and there were little tracks in the fields that you could see that little carts had gone down, and there had, well, probably ATVs, but like, you could imagine they were carts. I mean, there were like donkeys in the fields and cool animals and little baby calves running around. And I even saw some foals, with their moms, and like, it was just,
those horses were
beautiful.
So pretty.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So here's something that we've been kind of documenting each day on the podcast using our Ride with GPS and our Wahoo computers. First day, I think there were 22 hills. Yesterday, there were 7, and these are measured hills.
Yes.
And I think we've spoke to that there may be a few more than that, but those are the measured ones.
Yep.
Today, are you ready? Everyone sit down. There are 45 measured hills. But the good thing is by the time you get to Cumberland, you have 14 hills already done.
That's right. Yeah. So a lot of them were in the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed that too. I thought, oh, well, look at us getting through them.
Exactly. Yeah. We had our second or third breakfast in Cumberland. I don't know, but there were some cinnamon rolls that I'm still thinking about. So good.
Oh my gosh. They had 3 kinds of breakfast casserole, and I tried them all.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. They're so gracious hosts. When they are hosting RAGBRAI, their theme is going to be the little town that could.
Ah, fun.
And it is our first time in Cumberland. So they must have taken notes at the pass-through town meeting and all the times that Matt and Ann have visited them, because they did an A+ job.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and they also have, I'm going to have to mention really quick, they have an outstanding volunteer fire department.
Yes, they do.
So, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so from Cumberland, we went to Massena, and I think it was less than 8 miles. It was probably a little over 7 miles to get there. So that was a nice, like a real short segment to get into that town.
Yeah, and their theme is friendlier than ever for RAGBRAI, which I really love. But we immediately stopped in their amazing park, which had all sorts of play equipment and exercise equipment, which we maybe didn't need to use. But the water tower is right there in the park. So when you see the water tower, that's exactly how far you need to go to get to Massena. We had a great time stopping there. And we also went to the Main Street Bar and Grill there and had a little refreshments on our way. It was just really, really awesome stop. I think on the ride, my overall takeaway from the ride today was that with these hills, you get hungrier because you are working harder, and you should really make sure that you plan time so that you can stop in each and every town so that you have enough calories in your day to keep you going. So I would stop in Massena and every other town on this list.
I think we're going to we already have, or we're going to be posting some fun pictures of us in that park, because there were like swings and slides.
Yeah.
All kinds of
we had a
fun
good
things.
time out there.
Yeah. Okay, so from Massena, next stop was a little bit longer, 11.3, but still very doable. And we arrived into Fontanelle.
Yes, Fontanelle. And their theme is a wheelie good time, which I love that. It just was awesome. And their town motto is a place to call home. And we definitely felt at home in their giant town square.
Yes.
As we stopped.
Yes. And who knows if this will actually happen on RAGBRAI, but today we were greeted by a group of, I think it was like an entire daycare, and they gave us all high fives, and it was so cute as we pedaled
awesome.
in.
Yeah. And we were dividing and conquering bars just to kind of help give them advice about how to serve people on RAGBRAI. You and I went to the same one. So we went to Wreckers or Checkers, and it was really cool. It's a race car themed bar, super welcoming, super accommodating. Highly would recommend it, but I don't know anything about the other bar that's in town, but there are 2 bars in town.
Yes, 2 bars. Yeah. Yes. And did you say what their theme was?
Their theme is a wheelie good time.
That's awesome.
Yep. So I guess next we get to sort of the elephant in the room. Our next stop is Greenfield on the pre-ride.
Yes. And that, I'm sorry, it was the lunch spot.
It is the lunch. It's the meeting town. Yes. And it was interesting as you get closer and closer to Greenfield, there's almost no noticeable tree damage. The countryside looks normal as you approach Greenfield. But one thing is that we noticed there were a lot of truck traffic, and come to find out that truck traffic is large dumper trucks hauling trash away from Greenfield and rubble from homes and like people's ruined belongings and things, truck after truck after truck. And it was really impactful to see.
And for those listeners who maybe don't know, Greenfield had a direct hit of a huge tornado. And we found out today, we had lunch with the community members and some of the volunteers, that I think that she said it's a population of 2,000 people, and over 200 homes were completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And, and also businesses. She didn't even get into that, but it was a really emotional meeting.
Yes. I mean, and as you enter town, you can see there were ambulances, there were Red Cross wagons, there were emergency relief trailers.
State Farm.
This has been 2 weeks since the tornado hit, and they're still recovering. So obviously at this time, we don't know if we're going to be able to join Greenfield or not. That's totally up to them. But our focus right now is just supporting them. We walked around the town square and gave some business to the local shops that are around the square, anything that was open. And it was just, the focus was on supporting them and trying to help them come to grips with this awful thing in whatever way we could.
Right.
Yeah.
And the businesses still had, they're still thinking, they're forward thinking. So they had all kinds of neat ideas of, if they can pull it off to have RAGBRAI come through there. They have, they showed us all the different snacks and the protein shakes and the drinks that they are willing to make. But stay tuned, I guess. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks, they will decide if it works for them for RAGBRAI to come through. And then, of course, Matt will be notified, and then you'll see it somewhere on social media. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Shout out to NV Nutrition, like New Vegas Nutrition. They were awesome, and they gave us little samples of protein balls and nutritional drinks, and it was so good. And then we had lunch at the hotel there. I forget the name of the hotel. But it was a fancy historic hotel.
And it's connected to the Opera House. So I kind of think it was called the Opera House Hotel. But
maybe that's
I may be wrong. But we got an amazing tour of the Opera House.
Yes.
They have an Airbnb on the roof of that, which was so cool.
Yeah, the Opera House was built in 1896 for reference. And it's beautifully redone. And we had lunch courtesy of the Italian restaurant that's in the middle. I believe it's called the Olive Branch. That was in between. It's like all connected. Hotel, Olive Branch, and then Opera House. But it was really, really cool.
And we can't forget, I don't know the name of the group, but we arrived and they were making fresh lemonade for
the
us.
Lions Club. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And it was like, we'll have some videos on social media, but like this guy was like almost like an artist, because he, they put the ingredients in, then he would put a shaker on it and fill it with ice and then hand you the cup and then pour. It was like a performance. It was so good. Yeah. So hopefully if it happens that RAGBRAI goes through Greenfield, that those will be available.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I just can't stress enough how cool the Opera House was. And of course, since we were able to tour it, that means that this part of Greenfield was untouched by the tornadoes.
Yeah, to be honest, like AP said, you really you're not aware of the how impactful this tornado was on the community until you leave town. So we were on the exact route. And as we left town, I mean, basically it was maybe a block off of, the main square was just fine. All those businesses were fine. The courthouse was fine. All the churches were fine. But we went maybe a block away and it was complete and utter destruction.
It was like, it hit you like a wall. Yeah. I mean, it was just, there's nothing there in the portion of the town that was hit by the tornado.
Yep.
It's just insane. And I know that they've been clearing rubble for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. But there were dump trucks galore. There were people's belongings just sort of everywhere, because where else are they going to go?
Vehicles completely smashed still.
Vehicles. They're working as hard as they can to clean it up, but there's just a lot.
Yeah.
So my heart goes out to them, and I just wish them the best in everything they can do with their recovery. I've shared their link to donate if you're interested in supporting them monetarily on the RAGBRAI Facebook again, but let's go ahead and put it in the podcast episode today just so people can find it easily.
Yeah, definitely. So we're rooting for Greenfield. Like we said, stay tuned on that. But we left Greenfield and it was about 9 miles to the town of Orient, where we stopped in at the Dugout Cafe, which is kind of a street taco vendor restaurant and bar.
Yeah, it was really cool. The bathrooms were called baseball and softball. So that's how you figure out which one you go into.
And we spent a lot of time talking to the owner, and he is planning to do a street taco, which I think is brilliant. So, like a handheld, he already had the tray that he wants to use, and he was worried about whether or not people would care if they had squeezed lime juice on them. And I'm like, I love it, but no. So
I could go for about 8 of those tacos right now.
I know. So don't be mad at me if you get your street tacos and there's no lime juice.
I think we also have to say that Orient has a pretty cool water tower.
Oh gosh,
it looks like a UFO.
Yes, it does, which is perfect for year 51.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
we had a great time in Orient. For us, it started raining in Orient. And so the end of our ride today was very rainy, but it wasn't cold, so it wasn't bad. But I just want to, again, state, just be careful when you ride in the rain. Maybe practice riding in the rain. And as you train for RAGBRAI, if you haven't ridden in group rides before or in RAGBRAI before specifically, make sure that you practice riding in a straight line because that is something that will get you a long way and into safety on RAGBRAI. And even veterans have a hard time with that, especially in the rain. So it's a good skill to practice.
And I would also add to that, making sure you give yourself a little distance between the people in front of you for two reasons. One, just for safety, but the second is the spray from their back tire. It makes you even more wet.
I got hit by Murph's splash zone at least once today.
But at least it was it was really warm. So
yes, it wasn't so bad. Yeah.
Okay. From there, a little bit longer stretch, but not that bad. 12.8 miles to Macksburg.
Yeah. Macksburg is really cool. Their theme is it's all downhill from here. Yeah, right. But we love them. Their specialty is the skillet throw, the Macksburg skillet throw. And when I say skillet, I mean like a frying pan.
Yeah, like a metal frying pan. And they have these, I guess they're mannequins, dummies without heads. And they put balls on the heads. And then you literally throw the skillet to get points by knocking the heads off these guys.
Yeah. So we just had a blast. And
oh my gosh, it was fun.
We had cherry pie. Well, we had any kind of pie, but I had cherry pie.
I had cherry pie, yeah. I actually had 2 pieces of pie today.
And that's when I realized how fast I ate that piece of pie made me realize that I needed to eat more today.
Yeah.
Because the hills take it out of you. And that's why I said that comment earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we had a great time in Macksburg and then headed on into Winterset to wrap up all of our hills for the day.
Yep. There was 4.7 miles of gravel today, and the guys basically had the same report as yesterday. So stay tuned for more on that, and who knows between now and actual RAGBRAI. They did note that it was about 300 feet of climb.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and Winterset, home of John Wayne. Mm-hmm. We love Winterset. Their theme is the hilliest of the hilliest, and we agree with that theme. So we'll fill you in a little bit more on Winterset as we are about to go to dinner with them tonight. But if you want to know more right away, go ahead and check them out and look them up, Winterset RAGBRAI on Facebook or Instagram.
All right. Should we wrap it up and go eat?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Again?
All right. We'll report to you next week.
All right.
Next week. Tomorrow.
How about tomorrow? Okay. Well, listeners, that's it for today. We both want to thank you for tuning in to listen to this special edition of the Just Go Bike podcast.
And if you would like to contact us with a comment about the podcast, or maybe you have a topic in mind, you can reach us at Just Go Bike on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
You can also find us this year on Ride with GPS.
That's right. We'll be live logging the entire route inspection pre-ride with our Wahoo bike computers, then sending the data over to Ride with GPS, and you can find us online.
Please rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, especially if you're a fan.
All right, that's a wrap, and we'll be back soon. Until then,
just go bike!